Hello, I'd like to tell you about the new record company that I'm opening. It's going to be a revolutionary record company, never seen before like that until now. I'm a pioneer. I was one of the first people in the world that went and bought music to be uploaded digitally and used on iTunes in 2003 already, when this was just a glimpse in the eyes of most people and only 1% of the music business. Today, it's 90% of the music business. I was one of the first people in the world to stream movies online, available to everybody. One of the first people in the world, or the first one, that actually uploaded thousands and thousands of movies to the cloud. And many other innovations, which today look very ordinary, but at the time when I suggested them or did them, it looked very crazy. I believe in the music business. I've been in the music business my whole life. And I think that there's a lot of flaws in the music business. A lot of them were outlined lately in a Twitter chat by one of the biggest hip hop artists in the world. Lack of transparency in record companies offering or reports. A situation where the artist does not own his own masters. A situation that an artist does not really know how much money came in. He has to rely on the record company to find out anything, or actually try to sue them to get a record to his earnings. And basically, most artists don't make any money when they upload music to be sold via a big record company. Now, you may say, why do we need a record company? Because anybody can actually do it himself through some companies that will take your music and upload it to all the major services. But the problem is that unless you have the most outrageous, fantastic music, it's not going to pick up by itself. You need a record company to promote the music, market the music, and do many things so the music is going to be heard and sold and monetized. Just putting it on the services such as iTunes and Spotify and others is not enough for an artist to make a lot of money. And most artists are very busy with their art. They're not that interested in becoming marketing machines, which is the value of what record companies offer them. Most artists, I would say 95% to 99%, cannot really handle all the different chores needed to get the music heard, monetized, make them maybe very rich. Artists should just make music. That's their forte. Let other people do it for them. But they also need to get paid. And the purpose of this new record company is to even out this injustice. I would like to say that among other of my activities, I was also the director and manager and owner of the biggest dance music record company in Europe in the 90s. And also, it was the biggest out of America hip hop music label, including having the rights out of the US for Digital Underground, who had among its members no less than Tupac. So we had some of the biggest artists in the world signed up to us, and I took care of all of it. I don't look like it. I don't look like such a big hip hop person. Hey, but I do specialize in this genre. So this new record company is going to be monetized differently. It's going to be in favor of the artist. An artist is going to feel like he's going to get paid. Not just feel, but he is going to get paid. Part of the record company, and at this time I believe it's 30% of the company, will be owned by the artists themselves who are signed to the record company, and they will get shares proportional to their contribution. There's still some things to iron out. How is that going to work on a dynamic level? But that will be worked out. 30% of the company will be communal to the artist. Artists will take care and will be part of the directory. The directory. They'll be part of the record company. They'll be part of the music making. They'll be part of decision making, and they will vote also about many directions the record company is going to take because they are the artists. They should be the owners of the company, right? Not some businessman who sits somewhere and just laughs. I believe in equality. I believe that music people should be paid. Why? Because if they're creative, they deserve it. It's like the joke that one time somebody went to a company and saw a guy sitting in a room, and at that time he asked, why is this guy getting paid more than anybody else? He does nothing. He just sits in a table. It doesn't seem to be shuffling papers or doing anything. And the answer was because he's thinking, he's creative, he's the brain, so he gets paid. The brain gets paid, and the artists are the brain, they should get paid. The company will be also looking for artists using artificial intelligence, very sophisticated algorithms that will enable the company to spot artists as soon as they come up. And I'll tell you a big secret. The record company that I headed in Europe, #1 record and dance music label in Europe, was able to spot new records by using spies. We had a guy who worked at the biggest distributor in Italy of dance music records. At that time, we had records. Most of you forgot even how they look like. And he would contact us, this guy, he got paid, I forget how much, and he would say to us, this and this record is selling like hotcakes. I mean, like within days of coming out. So that was a very primitive way to find out which records are up and coming. Immediately, my record company rushed to the producer who did that hot record and buy the rights. So that was a very primitive way of finding out what records are selling. But it was very successful because the record company had more than 40 chart hits, including many #1s. Today, we're in a different time. We don't have record distributors sitting in Italy, but we have the digital world. And the digital world is full of things, so we're not able to manually spot anything. But digitally and using artificial intelligence, we can sort through all this mess, and we can see which artists are very, very interesting and upcoming. Of course, we have the human element. We're not going to just rely on machines to decide the fate of this or that direction of the record company, but we are going to be heavily, heavily technological and relying on technology and constantly developing new algorithms and ways to find the hottest artists. Marketing-wise, we may break the mold of the way music is marketed today. We're going to be doing things out of the box. There's so many technological advancements to market things and market ideas and market possibly music. That's what we're going to be doing. We're not going to rely on the old methods of 20, 30, 50 years ago to sell music. We're going to be there. We're going to know how to push the right people. And we're going to be successful. Yes, we are. When I first encountered that record company I just mentioned in Europe, #1 dance music label in Europe, the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. We were just days from bankruptcy. That's when I took over. I slept on the floor, literally, for 1.5 years in a foreign country in Europe, which I did not speak the language well. And I got this company from just the closest thing to bankruptcy to a huge success. Eventually, when the company was turned over to another company, that company was monetized and reached a value of $2 billion in the stock market. I was not there anymore. But this was all based on our masters and our work. So I want to do the same now. And it's just not just me. I'm not a loner trying to do something. I have assembled a group of people around me that each one of them seems to be very talented in his own way and could be huge help. Okay? These are not people that are going to command huge salaries or anything. Each one of these people is doing something today, and he makes his own money, and they know what to do. And this is just the start. I believe that we're going to be attracting fantastic talent, just like a good tech company will attract good engineers and good people. Actually, we will be modeled a lot around tech companies, offering the people around us proper salaries, bonuses, and what have you, to attract, and a good work atmosphere to attract them to work with us. But we're not going to be spenders. We're not going to be throwing crazy parties. We're going to do everything, on the other hand, in the most frugal way, so the profits are kept and distributed to artists and what have you. There's many other items about this new record company that I cannot go into right now, because then my introduction will take hours. The other very important part of the record company is going to be monetizing intellectual property, mainly music, of course, because we're a music company. But we could also monetize movies. We could also monetize digital art. We can also monetize special artifacts related to gaming. It's hard to believe, but an artifact related to gaming has just sold for no less than $80,000. Now imagine, somebody went, played the game, came up with God knows what, and he sold it for $80,000. This is mind-boggling. Okay? How many hours do you have to work to make $80,000? So if we look at this, and we look at the fact that Bitcoin has gone 10 times in 1 year, more or less, from $6,000 to $60 almost. I think they crossed $60, I'm not sure. And if we look at the fact that another currency that's not very well known, it's called Ethereum, went up from as low as, I think, $120 to as high as almost $2,000 in the same year, or a little bit more than a year. But nobody talks about it because it's not as famous and it's not as sexy as Bitcoin. But this is just an example of how cryptocurrencies are going. The biggest joke here is that Bitcoin is not backed up by anything. It's really a psychology coin. People think it has value and they pay for it. There's nothing to back it up. There's no gold, there's no dollars, there's no nothing. If it was worth tomorrow again $1, it would be worth $1 because there's nothing behind it. But it could skyrocket to $100,000 and not in the far future. And I have predicted that over and over in writing on Facebook over a year ago, that's going to reach $100,000 easily. So the world is turning into cryptocurrency. A lot of things will be monetized by cryptocurrency, much more than what we know today, including real estate, including, as I said, music, intellectual property. All kinds of things will be converted into cryptocurrency, which is actually registered. The items and what have you is registered in the blockchain, and the blockchain cannot be altered. So if somebody wants to steal something from you, it's going to be much harder because there'll be a record of who owns who and what, and it cannot be altered. And I'm using simple layman terms because there's special terms for all that. So we're going to be monetizing intellectual property such as music. So for example, let's say that you have a catalog of music with some hit records, for example. Maybe you want to sell it. Maybe you want to monetize it. Today, there's very, very few companies that deal with monetizing collections of artists. Usually they only deal with publishing, by the way. For some reason, they don't deal with what's called master rights. And usually the items, the collections or partial collections or songs are sold based on income. And usually it's sold for between 8 to 15 times the yearly income. I think that's injustice to the artist. Because I think that if you had a hit record, it's a hit record. It's going to be always there. People play songs from the 1950s. Hey, that's what I do, no? So I know. And the music is always there. And it's got prestige. Right? How many songs do you know and you sing if you like music? and you love it and it's part of your soul. That has prestige value. It's not buying plumbing. It's not buying even real estate. A lot of people don't even care about real estate, even the real estate they live in. But music is in the heart. It touches us. It's emotional. And if an artist had a collection of music and it was monetized, then you could come and buy part of the collection by buying the cryptocurrency. And it's always registered to you forever, unless you pass it to somebody else. But there's a record. It's all recorded. If you pass it to somebody else, it's going to be recorded. Nobody can come later on and say you stole it from him. And going back to the record company, we're going to be using a replacement for just the copyright of music by recording, by actually copywriting with blockchain, which will be much more effective because we can actually copyright in, let's say, 5 seconds intervals. We don't have to just copy a whole song. We can copy elements of the song and register them with blockchain. That's a lot more effective to prove which song is what and who owns what. So going back now to the intellectual property situation. So let's suppose that you have a collection of music and maybe a couple of hit records, maybe not. But lots of people appreciate you, right? And they would not mind to be owners of the music. And you know what? The value of recorded music rights has gone up drastically just now because some companies raised billions of dollars in the stock market and started buying music rights and paying astronomical amounts. I'm sure you read in the papers, if you followed up, about certain collections being sold of the greatest artists. But there's lots of songs out there. There's a lot of intellectual property out there. And most of it is not monetized. And the people that own it sometimes don't even have any money while they're sitting on a fantastic collection of music that they own. So this is a huge business about to happen. You know why? Because not only when you buy a coin, which is a percentage, represents a share or percentage of the intellectual property, it may go up later. Because intellectual property always goes up, never goes down. When the Michael Jackson collection was sold, Michael Jackson, if I forget, I'm mixing up, bought a portion of the Beatles catalog. He paid, I think, $50 million or some amount. It looked at the time like it's crazy. It's huge money. Today, it could be in the billions, the same collection. Intellectual property appreciates even faster than real estate, than anything else. Why? Because you cannot replace it. If an artist has a hit record, even if he sings it again tomorrow, it's not the same song. Only the original song has value. The re-record has value, but nothing as big as the original. Because people have memory. And when they hear a copy of a song that's not the original 100%, they pay attention. You don't have to be a great musician. That's why songs and other one-of-a-kind articles are very valuable and worth lots of money. And there's all kinds of currencies out there. Equity currency, which is how the record company is going to be monetized. There's also collectors currency, collectors cryptocurrency called NFT, and that is a special currency that is pegged to one particular item, maybe a picture, maybe an art, maybe music. And that's just starting to happen, just in the very, very beginning. Just imagine if different items around you that are worthwhile are monetized. And people will pay money for it, and people will, because they know it goes up in value. Our brain is very, very valuable. Okay? It's just like the guy who sat in an office and did nothing and was the highest paid executive because his brain was worth more than many people just laboring all day. So we want to be a pioneer in that respect. We want to be a cookie cutter, digital crypto coined company that does monetize other collections. And of course, we get a percentage in the process, or other situations that we can come up with. And you know what? Many things could be monetized by cryptocurrency, even concerts. Okay, I did at some point calculate a deal where people that will go to a concert, they will actually buy it with coins. And there's reasons why you want to buy that. Why? One of them, that nobody can forge the tickets, because it's all backed by cryptocurrency. So there is so many things that can be done with cryptocurrency, which is coming up now. And it's been around for the last few years, but I think it's going to skyrocket because Bitcoin has paved the way. The biggest trading company in cryptocurrency is now planning to go public in the stock market and raise billions of dollars. Suddenly, everybody understands that cryptocurrency is a big business. We, as a record company, we will specialize in that type of a business, intellectual property tokenizing. So I hope you got some information about what we do, and there will be a way to reach us and discuss it with us further. Thank you, and have a good day.